Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Francesca. I am a 7 Cups of Consciousness practitioner, as well as a shamanic sound healer. And my channel is all about dating, love, relationships. I love to look at all the different pieces and layers that go into relationship and break down what might seem complex into bite-sized layers and nuggets that are easy to understand with tips, techniques, and insights from my energetic perch. So today I wanted to talk about the 4 things that men want most from women. And before I get into those 4 things, I just want to say that although it may not seem like it a lot of the times, men are far more sensitive than I think they are given credit for, or that women think they are. And so men take a lot of things to heart but they don't necessarily discuss, whereas women are going to discuss, we're going to, unpack, we're going to, talk to our friends about X, Y, and Z, and men don't do that. So I think that leaves the impression then that, oh, well, they're locked emotionally or this or the other. No, that's not it. It's just we process things differently. There are differences between men and women. And so people like myself are here to help break those differences down so that you can see the common ground and the best way to communicate, and not just with men, but with anybody. So the first thing that men really want from women is respect. Men need to feel that you respect them. So when you're dating, or even if you've been in a relationship, he needs to feel that you respect him for who he is as a person, for his accomplishments, and that you recognize that, and then you treat him as such, that you ask for his insights, for his advice. That is so important to men. And I remember, this was in my late 20s. I'd been dating this guy maybe like a month or so, and he had mentioned something that his ex had said to him, and you could still hear the pain in his voice. You could still see that he was carrying this comment with him. It really cut to his core. But at the center of that was that when she made this comment to him, he felt completely disrespected and that she didn't respect him, and that he carried that with him. And so just a reminder that be very careful sometimes when we say flippant comments or we can criticize, that gets taken to heart, and that gets linked to, oh, I'm not respected. And that's going to kill any chance of a future, or that's going to cause a block in the relationship. The second thing that men really want from women is appreciation. I think a lot of times there's this expectation, oh, well, a man should do this and he should do that. And if I'm doing this, and he should do that. And we don't say thank you. We don't appreciate them for the things that they do. And thank you goes such a long way. It's amazing. Think about when somebody thanks you for just an everyday thing. Hey, thanks for doing that. Oh, okay. Very nice. And also make sure it's sincere. Everybody knows when a compliment or a thank you is sincere and when it's not sincere. So, like, for example, I worked with a gal years ago, and the only time that she would give me a compliment or approach me or thank me was when she wanted something. So as soon as she would say, oh, hey, that's a pretty blouse, or I like those sunglasses, I'd be like, what's the ask? Because it's coming. right? So you want to make sure that your appreciation and your compliments are sincere and they come from the heart. And they can be over the simplest things, whether it's taking out the trash or he picks up the check. Thank you. And then you can even go one step further and say, I appreciate your generosity. Um, I appreciate your help in this task. So on to number 3. And this is kind of true for everybody. But especially when it comes to relationships, men want to be understood. I know that there's the whole men are from Mars, women are from Venus. And like I said, there are differences. But at the end of the day, everybody wants to feel understood. And it's far easier to understand a man or a person in general by using reflective listening. So men and women tell stories differently. So if you ask a woman, hey, how was your day? How was that meeting? She might be like, so and Sally was there again and she blah, blah, blah. And then I got irritated and then so-and-so happened and blah, blah, blah. And I got snappy and then this happened, blah. And then I felt guilty because I had been snappy. And we go through this whole, and we list usually the emotions that go with it. When men tell stories, it's usually not as detailed and there's usually not the emotions linked in there. There might be one or two, once again, these are generalities. But when you ask man, hey, how was your day? How was that meeting? I know you had that big meeting with your boss. How did that go? He might just simply say, oh, it was fine. Or, it really made me mad because we had this timeline and my boss, forgot to do X. And so now the timeline's been pushed back and I'm mad. Or they might not even say that they're mad. So what you can do is you listen reflectively and you reflect back the emotions and you can say, oh, that sounds like, really frustrating. You must be really frustrated. I completely understand why you're mad because you had a plan. It didn't happen the way you thought it was going to work out because your boss dropped the ball. You're frustrated. That's very disappointing. And so you'll usually tell by the reaction, yeah, or yeah, I do. And so you're confirming or validating the emotions that are with the story. And it also helps you understand him. You're not just, once again, listening to the words of the story. There's always an emotion that's underneath that. There's something that's linked. And so when you do that, then they really are like, oh, okay, she gets me. You're like, yeah, I get it. That's awful. Right? And then you can progress with the story or with the next thing, but it's really being present when he's talking and reflecting, like I said, those emotions back to him of that experience that he's talking about. And then the 4th thing that men really want from women is play. Now, that doesn't mean that, every day you're running off to the casinos or the beach or whatever it is that you do for play and for fun. Play can come in many forms. But with play, there's a lightheartedness about it. After work, men don't want to be with a woman because it feels like more work. He wants to relax. He wants to have fun, and that doesn't mean that you're not going to have deeper conversations throughout the extent of your relationship, or that you're not going to have hard conversations or pay bills or clean the yard, do all of those, tasks that go with life. But it's a sense of relaxation. Like, you're not there to cause more work. You're there to support each other and have fun. And you can even make doing the dishes fun, like, hey, let's turn on some music, or maybe you're cooking and you're like, hey, you be my sous chef while I do X, or whatever it may be. But it shouldn't feel, like I said, like work or a drain. Men don't want that. Nobody wants that. Women don't want that either. Women don't want to, feel like, ugh, I just worked all day and now, oh, this work, this is challenging. So I know you may have heard some of those things before. So maybe this is the first time you've heard it. If it's not, maybe it hits differently as a reminder this time. If you like this video, thought it was insightful or enjoyable, give it a thumbs up, click subscribe so you can be notified when my videos go live. And if you are curious about my services, I'm offering 3 free 30-minute intro sessions, and we can look at what might be a challenge for you and go from there and come up with some solutions, because there's always a solution. So until next time, more love vibes to come. Ciao.